Dr. E, is it in bad taste to not attend a funeral for my brother-in-law, since my husband's 2 adult daughters who hate me will be there? My plan, if not attending is not an option, is to attend, but stay only for 30 minutes. It'll be about a 2-hour drive one way. Thank you.
Hazel, I love your honesty. I love your honesty. Thanks for asking. Let me parse this out in a couple of points. Number one, I'm going to start at the end. I always go. I always go to funerals because there's a presence that communicates. I don't have to say a lot. I don't have to. When I officiate funerals, I've done several in recent weeks. I always make the opening statement: your presence here speaks more than your words. You don't have to say some cliche. You don't have to say, I'm sorry for your loss. You don't have to say, he was such a lovely person. She was such a lovely person. You don't have to lie. But your presence means something.
Yeah.
And I think fewer and fewer people are going to funerals these days, unless it's a celebrity or, a tragedy.
Yeah.
People don't go. So let me start at the end. I always go if possible. And whether it's a 30-minute drive or whatever, I wouldn't care. To me, if and I went to a funeral, one of my professors' mom died years and years ago, and I said it was a half-hour drive each way, and it was a small attending group there, and I stayed in the back. I wasn't drawing attention to myself. If I see that professor to this day, he'll say to me, "I can't believe you came
Wow.
to my mother's funeral."
Wow.
Presence is powerful.
I really learned that at your dad's funeral. There were some men that flew in and out. I mean, this funeral was in Texas. These guys were nowhere near Texas, and we didn't even know they were there until the service was over, and turning around and seeing several of these different guys from different parts of the nation. I mean, I burst into tears, just overwhelmed by their love for you. They never met your dad, but they loved you, and they knew losing your dad is a big deal.
Yep.
That was a imprint on my life, and I will forever. If I can be there, I will be at a funeral of someone that. It doesn't matter if I never knew that person. If I loved the person who's grieving, I'm gonna be there.
As far as the family dynamics, it's I'm not going to make a comparison or a bell curve here. Some of us have trouble, with our relatives and whatnot.
A lot of us do. Most people have problems with their relatives.
So here's the deal. Can you and I be the big person? I don't mean that condescendingly, but we be the big person that doesn't, pick a fight and just goes and gives a few hugs and, looks a person in the eye and says, I'm sorry and I'm praying for you and I care about you, and leave it at that. My mom passed away not long ago, and it was remarkable because my brother and sister and I live in different places of the country. And it's not that we don't like each other. We don't see each other.
Right.
And our lives are in different trajectories. And I had not been with my brother face to face, and I can't remember how long. We had a great conversation. I didn't expect it. It wasn't like I have to see my brother. I was looking forward to it, but we hadn't talked in forever. And I was like, we sat at a kitchen table in my brother-in-law's house, and I told Cindy, it was delightful seeing my sister and brother-in-law and my brother and sister-in-law. Yeah. It was delightful seeing them. I just encourage you to always go. I did a funeral service recently, and I have to give credit where credit is due. Dr. Wendell Johnson was the one who exposed me to this passage. It's the death of Moses in Deuteronomy 34, and you probably remember the story where because he struck the rock twice as opposed to speaking to the rock, God does not let him go into the land of promise. But he takes him up to the plains of Moab in the valley of Jericho, and he can see from the Negev, he can see where they're going to go. And let me just read a couple of verses. Deuteronomy 34, verse 4. Then the Lord said to him, Moses, this is the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your descendants. I have let you see it with your eyes, but you shall not go over there. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in the valley of the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, but no man knows his burial place to this day. Verse 6, and he buried him. Who's the he? He is what we call a Christophany, or a theophany, a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ. And he, Jesus, buried him, Moses, in the valley of the land of Moab. Now, if you were to be in the valley of Moab or the Negev or in this area today, this is a arid climate. And in antiquity, in the ancient Near East, you were buried under a pile of rocks. You didn't dig a 6-foot vault and put someone in the ground and put something over them and put a tombstone on it. You put a big rock pile on the body. So this isn't a sanctified imagination. This is a great picture. Jesus Christ is gathering rocks and piling them on Moses. And Dr. Wendell Johnson said, there is dignity in the burial of the body. So, go to the funeral.
That's good.
Selah.